Well, it was springtime, and I was able to entertain and play and babysit my grandchildren. Everything was so beautiful. I was looking forward to returning to Hawaii for my 55th year high school reunion. We had rented the condo, had airline tickets, and my oldest daughter and her family and her young baby were going to join us in June of 2017. So it was a wonderful time until I went to the dentist. And then I told my doctor, I have a lump on my tongue, and I think it's cancer. Well, a few weeks later, the biopsy showed that it was indeed cancer. So in April, I knew the diagnosis. I wish I knew more about the treatment, especially the effects of radiation, if anything, radiation. At this point of my treatment, my cancer started to get large, and I could feel it, to the point where I could not use the right side of my mouth to chew because it was very painful. So from April until June 1st, it grew so rapidly it came to be at stage 2. And I couldn't wait to have it operated on. I knew I had great doctors. Well, the sore is in your mouth because since the radiation was treating my mouth area, the sores in my mouth were so painful. And the biggest one was the right side, of course, and I still have a pain there. It was something that maybe somebody should write about it, because when they're doing radiation there, you are going to have sores in your mouth, many, many sores. And the other part about the radiation was my skin. It was so painful because it doesn't occur, the skin problem, so about the second or third week of the radiation. And when it starts, it gets all red, it's all sore, it's itchy, you can't scratch because you just exacerbate the problem. Mm-hmm. So I had to use Aquaphor and other things and change the bandage twice a day. When I had the operation on June 1st, there were 3 surgeons. Dr. Falkway, Dr. Bohim, the reconstruction surgeon, and Dr. Parzolti with the mouth and the tongue. I understand the surgery took approximately 6 to 7 hours. And then I was in the ICU for 3 or 4 days. A few months ago, I was talking to my husband, and for some reason I asked how I looked when I came out of surgery. And he said my face was swollen, and my tongue was sticking out. But I said, how could it have stuck out? Because now I can't get my tongue beyond my teeth. He said, oh yeah, you were so swollen. So I guess I picture myself as looking like a bloated fish. My ortho-laryngitis team came to see me twice a day. And I remember once, they came at 3 o'clock in the morning. And my doctor did not believe me. So the second time they came in the afternoon, I told them, my daughter doesn't believe you came in at 3 o'clock in the morning. So tell her that I'm not losing. And they said, yes, we did come. So that's how Hopkins is. You know, they will come at all times to see me at various times of my healing. So my husband bought me a tablet, and it's like a tablet that I could write on so I could communicate. And he also surrounded me with the photos of my grandchildren. So that was very good, reassuring, you know, bring home to the hospital and bring me a source of communication so I could talk to the doctors and things like that. One advice I will give people who are going to have tongue cancer surgery is when the doctors and rehabilitation people say, walk, walk. That is the truth. Because it gets atrophied if you just stay in bed. You have to strengthen your legs, you have to strengthen your shoulders, because there are many effects from radiation. My tongue will never be the same. So learning to eat became a big issue because I had problems with my tongue, of course.
How's your swallowing?
My swallowing was excellent. It always has been excellent.
Good.
It was, as I said, my tongue was rebuilt. That's all there is to it. It's not one piece, it's two pieces tied together. And it's like a valley between the tongues, so a lot of food collects there. But when I went to the rehabilitation center, Manicare here in Maryland, I had my first meal. But it was mashed potatoes and gravy, so it was, I guess I could swallow it. But it was good. But then I knew I could eat soft foods, but I could eat. And then, lymphedema. Radiation makes your neck very stiff, so I have to see specialists. I sleep every night now with a compression because of the lymph nodes and all the liquid from the lymph is on my cheek, under my neck. So I sleep with that every night. So finally, after 6 weeks, on the 14th of July, I returned home. And my husband became my caretaker. Here in Maryland, through the work of Johns Hopkins and Manicare, all my things I needed to survive at home, the oxygen, the portable suction, all the supplies for my trach. But who had to do it was my husband. He did everything. He took care of me. He fed me 3 times a day with my feed tube. Yeah, he did everything. Of course, my children visited, but they were with me 24/7. And my grandchildren were there. And they give you another emotional lift. But the physical every day was my husband. And I thank him for it. Learning to eat at home was so painful. Everything to do that in the beginning was so painful, I couldn't eat. I could drink, I could drink all the Ensure and everything. I'd rather go through the pain of learning to use my
figure out
tongue
what you could eat,
than having the food to, because you're attached to something, you know what I'm saying? You're attached. 3 times a day. And on top of that, it's not to say that with my feeding tube, I also started to eat. I started to have a 4-minute egg, cream of wheat, soft things.
So you had to
But
work hard on
nothing-
nutrition then.
But nothing was appetizing during that transition. Nothing is appetizing. But I knew I had to eat. In order to get rid of the food tube, I had to eat. I had to go. I wanted to go to Massachusetts. I wanted to see my granddaughter. And this was in December. So it was more, she was my motivation, my granddaughter. So I learned to eat. I learned to take my painkillers, before I would eat, sit down and try to eat, even if it was only an eighth of a cup. I tried it. And the first time I actually sat down and had food was on my daughter's birthday. On the 25th of October, her husband bought her Popeye's chicken. That's because that's what she wanted for her birthday. And there was a little piece there that my granddaughter didn't have. And I came downstairs because it was her birthday, so I saw it and I ate it. I had a piece of chicken. So that was my first time I had something substantial. Another thing from after the treatment was I was very sensitive to smell. This is why I got nauseated. One of the things was my husband's cooking when he cooked his breakfast. He said he couldn't smell it, but I could. So very nauseated. So after I had the chicken, food, I started to get a little appetite because I guess that must be the word. But I tried other things. I went to a quarter cup. And then I learned to eat other things. But basically soft drink. But now, I put Orajel. I stop all the heavy opioids because it doesn't make you think well. You're always living in a fog. And I told my husband I did not want to live in a fog. To help me with my speech, I have a palate drop because my tongue does not reach the roof of my mouth, and it does not really hit the backside of my teeth, which makes enunciation and pronunciation, or those articulations to come out well. But I have different listeners. My husband cannot understand me, but my son-in-law understands me. And because I was a teacher or a union rep, talking was very important to me. I nagged my husband, he can attest to that. But now, because people can't understand me, and especially my main caregiver, I don't talk very much. I talk to myself. Well, my daughter has a master's degree from Johns Hopkins in nursing. In fact, she has both a bachelor's and a master's degree from Hopkins. And she supported her father in the sense of giving him a lot of information. And she worked at NIH during this time. She lived in Baltimore, right a block away from the university, since her husband was a professor at the university. She lived in Baltimore and had to drive 1.5 hours one way to NIH. But she came to see me in the hospital and at the rehabilitation center practically every day. She brought me special yogurts. She brought me my special lavender lotion. She gave me a bath, a shower, but so did my husband. And she was supporting her father as far as giving him advice and giving me support, physical support, emotional support. So she had her. I don't like to go out. I don't like to be in company with other people because I'm very conscious of it. and my hair loss, and because I can't speak well, I just don't like to. Like this Friday, my husband is going out. It's a potluck, where I said, I'll make your potluck food, but I will not accompany you. And so it's manifested, this radiation has manifested in many ways where I become socially isolated because I choose to be socially isolated because of my insecurities. When you can't speak well, you'll feel you're on top of the game. As far as getting back to my other activities, except for I used to be a member of the Jewish Community Center and I exercised 3 times a week. I said to myself, I want to get back to it, but I think I want to go back if I can speak a little better. So I don't know when that will be. As I said, what made me survive, especially in the hospital when I thought I might die because I couldn't breathe, is your face. Because there's only one being that's going to help you, and that's God. Until today, I'm a Baha'i. I became a Baha'i when I was 18 years old. And there's a special prayer I say. It's called the Tablet of Akbar. It's a very long prayer, but I have memorized it. And I say it 9 times every day. And that's what keeps me going. That's what makes me want to wake up, to give me hope, to see my grandchildren, That's what it is. So have faith. But you can't survive lung cancer. I did. It will never be the same as before you had the surgery. But yes, you can live, you can breathe, you can enjoy your grandchildren. You will survive.